And that comes from the yeast generally, right?
Yeah, it's called isoamyl acetate. It's a byproduct of yeast fermentation.
Isoamyl.
Isoamyl acetate. IAA.
Isoamyl acetate.
That's it.
We'll take the test after.
Can you put it at the bottom when I?
Yeah, we'll put it up on the screen. So Brandon, you're gonna have to send us that damn word. Ain't nobody made that shit.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 49 of Beer Night Shoot the podcast. And today we are here in Toronto at Laylow with these three extremely attractive gentlemen. If you could very briefly introduce yourself and what you do here, just to save me getting it wrong. Start.
Yeah, my name's Colin. Me and Dan started up Laylow. I'm taking over the brewing here at Laylow.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Dan, and co-owner and operator of all things Laylow.
Love it.
I'm Brandon. I was basically consulting here to set up the brewery, getting Colin on his feet, making sure our processes were clean. And
Fantastic. So thank you so much for having us today, guys. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to get straight to the beer, and then I want to get into all your stories and see what's popping. So first of all, I'm a huge fan of this place. We came here a couple months, end of last year. You guys only opened, like you said, about August, I think, 2016?
End of
September?
Yeah.
So we came here, I think you guys must have been open like a month, and this is essentially a hip-hop themed craft beer bar / brew pub.
Consider
that, yeah?
I mean, kind of, the lifestyle of, I guess, maybe a mature hip-hop listeners' space to have a drink. Not just hip-hop. I mean, we'll listen to a bunch of stuff, but I think the connotation is that, it's music that you can listen to. It's not being blasted in your ear. I mean, the main focus is more beer-driven, which is like a beer hall, an urban beer hall, which is still about conversations and networking with people.
Amazing.
The music's in the background, but it's still listenable to people that, you can acknowledge it's good music, but you don't have to
carry a conversation without screaming.
Exactly. You don't have to yell at anybody. So.
I love that. Urban beer hall is a really cool phrase. I've never heard that.
Yeah, well, I just coined that.
Yeah, look at that. Don't steal it. So just before we get into a bit more about the bar and stuff, what are we drinking right now? So this is one of your, what do you guys, I guess I'll say signature beers, but I think this one is kind of one of the key ones, right? This is
Lowlands. It's our Belgian wit. It's the beer that we have on almost all the time. It's in some ways a classic Belgian wit. In other ways, it's a new take. The mandate when we made this beer was to make a beer that was very approachable. The clientele here, we do have some people who are in as beer aficionados. Mm-hmm. We also have lots of people who come in interested in beer but not incredibly experienced with it. So we don't want to only offer big hoppy beers and stouts. We want to offer something that is still approachable for a relatively new beer drinker.
Right. So
the mandate was to make a beer that was approachable but still very full flavored, light but not boring.
Yes.
So we decided on a Belgian wit because that's something that is recognizable to most beer drinkers, whether or not you are very involved in the craft scene.
Right.
Everyone knows Hogarden, everyone knows, various white beers.
Yeah.
But the twist we tried to put on it was to put more of the focus on the malt. Wit beers are generally quite light-bodied, very crisp.
Yeah.
That's really nice. I like a wit beer like that, but we tried to make one that was quite full-bodied and put focus on the flavor of the wheat. So we messed around a little with water chemistry and yeast choice to create a beer that was aromatic from the yeast without being dominated by it, and that put, again, focus on the malt profile and what the wheat really tastes like in a beer.
Right, that's dope. So I want to know all your stories as well, like how the hell we ended up in Urban Beer Hall in Toronto drinking your beer with two brewers, and that it's amazing. So Colin, I'd love to know how did you end up here?
I'd say I got into beer actually in Peterborough, Ontario. I started working at a really great Belgian beer bar called St. Veronis. This place was great. It was selling Trappist beers, 13, 14 years ago, way before the sort of like craft beer explosion really took off in Canada. You know, selling really complex beers to, well, you know, to people who certainly weren't accustomed to those types of beers. And I was one of them, you know, like I came in, didn't know anything about beer, just used it to get drunk, like pretty much everyone else. You know, then I started drinking these interesting like Belgian doubles and these triples and saisons and all these crazy styles of beer that really expanded sort of my conception of what beer is. And then just working there as a server, as a bartender, selling those beers to people, like convincing them that like, no, like what you think of beer is certainly one kind of beer, but there's so many other kinds. Watching people come in and just see their minds get blown by all these crazy, like interesting beers. That's how it got into me. That's
Right.
how I started with that. Then I started getting into home brewing as well. Moved to Toronto, hooked up with other people in the homebrew community. Met Dan at a brewery. Met Brandon at a brewery as well.
You guys all work together, right? You guys all came from...
Yeah.
We didn't have to speak of the ex-employer if you don't want to, but that's pretty cool that all y'all were able to meet in one place and then be like, you know what, let's do something.
Yeah, and then we just started talking, really. It was just sort of like, I think I always wanted to open up my own place, focusing on, you know, challenging beers, like selling interesting beers to people, but not in a pretentious way, like in a really like, hey, like, there's all these cool beers out there, like, let us share them with you, you know, like,
Right.
Let's bring in some cool ones, get people hooked on interesting beers.
That's very dope. Is that why it was kind of like what I think I was asking Dan before, like why you guys have your own stuff, but you've also got a really great selection of bottles as well as like 4 rotating taps from like you tried like from each continent or a bunch of different countries. So was that because of like, you know what, I got my stuff, cool, this is what we're doing, but also like, yo, you need to try it.
Yeah,
stuff
well,
from the States.
local beer is huge, right? Like local craft beer, everyone's all about local. We wanted to focus on markets outside of Ontario, so you know, Quebec, Belgium, Germany, like, you know, crazy breweries in the States as well. But at the same time, you know, we also wanted to, you know, we wanted to sell local beer. So our argument was sort of like, you know, you can't get any more local than like it's brewed in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
So you guys have what would you call it? We were talking about that before. It's like basically a nano brewery, but technically it's a pico brewery, that was Colin?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the system we're brewing on is the size of maybe a medium homebrew system.
Okay.
Depends on which homebrew community you belong to.
Right.
In some communities, it would probably be seen as pretty advanced.
Oh, yeah.
In Toronto, I'd say as a homebrew system, we wouldn't be classified as an advanced system.
What would it be?
Middle of the road, middle high of the road.
Okay.
We don't have like, I mean, we are all stainless. We're pump driven.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of things that we have set up for the system to work properly.
Right.
But I mean, I know some people in town with homebrew setups that are way more intense than this.
Right.
So because of that, and because of the size, our batch size is about 60 liters or so.
Okay.
When it goes into the keg, it's somewhere between 58 and 59 liters often.
Okay. And it's 1 keg per batch?
Per brew, yeah.
Okay.
So that most nano brewing systems are at least 1 barrel,
Okay.
or which would be
There's 2
117
kegs to a
liters.
barrel? That-ish?
2 full kegs to it, yeah.
Okay.
It's a completely arbitrary measurement. Imperial
It
system.
really is. It's
all made up.
Oh, America.
Yeah, 117 liters is a barrel. So
117, okay.
that's a reasonable amount
Right.
to set at.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah, of
Canadian
course.
breweries will run on the metric system. That's hectoliters, it's 100
Hectoliter,
liters.
yeah.
But yeah,
Hex
most
is
nano
a-
brew
one hex
systems
is
100 liters.
100 liters, okay.
So most nano systems will be at least 1 barrel, which is still
Okay.
very small. We're 60% of that. So
Okay, so that's why it's on that pico / nano.
yeah, some people would say it's a pico. Yeah.
Depends how anal you want to be.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know. Those aren't very well defined categories. So you can say what you want.
It's just whatever.
Some
Okay.
people are microbreweries and aren't really making very much beer.
Right.
I don't think it's too important to define the size, but we are small.
Right, which is kind of cool though, because it's like some of these beers, like you guys will probably make once, and that's it. You get that 1 keg, and then if you miss out, you miss out. Is that right?
That's
Yeah,
definitely true.
absolutely.
We
I love
made
that.
that zero sum. We only made once. We only made the ESB once. I'd say probably half of our beers have only been on tap once.
But if they're popular, like what do you base the fact that you make it again on?
I made a different beer every brew for the first maybe 6 weeks.
Okay.
Partially because it was fun.
Right, of course.
Partially because you have to kind of gauge your clientele.
Right. Yeah.
You can try to make the beers that you like, but if everyone who comes in here, wants to have a dark beer, then you should make a dark beer if it's wasn't on your list. So
Another big part of why we chose the styles that we did was we wanted to sell styles that weren't necessarily seeing being produced at a local level as much.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like the Belgian Wit, the Breo Ale that we have coming out,
Zwickel.
the Zwickel beer was our amber lager, the Belgian Golden Ale.
Yeah.
These styles you don't really see very often in in sort of like the Toronto craft brew scene. Like it seems to be a lot more focused on pale ales, IPAs,
Very much so.
saisons as well, which we love as well. But we wanted to do something a little different.
That's cool. I really like that. Dan, do you want to let us know your story, mate? Keep going
I
on
mean,
track.
essentially, I obviously worked in a brewery as well. I'm a bit, I guess you could say, late in the beer game. I came into a brewery setting where I was just a manager, and then I got to know brewers and going out around the city when I guess the beer epidemic was really starting in the city.
Coining all the terms.
And once that kind of started, I met these two and others who were home brewing. And by no means, I can't even pronounce that word. I don't brew. I'm not a brewer, but I'm a selfish drinker. I guess another coin phrase. I drink beer for the fact of being with other people.
Right.
I like having a drink because it's an excuse to be with people and networking. I've always liked to host, I think, my whole life. So when I was in the industry, I always knew I was going to open it. I just didn't think it would happen so soon.
Right.
But for me, it's more, I think, just the social aspect of beer and what it does for friends and how people get to know each other.
Right.
It's a great conversation piece, and I think that was always where I was headed with alcohol.
Being involved in it, at that time,
I just saw it as this great kind of
Social lubricant.
essentially. I mean, let's just keep those phrases.
yeah, I know you guys are just
And that was it really. I'm a musician by trade, but I went to school for cooking and food and beverage management, and just from there, it was more about creating an atmosphere in a room that my friends would enjoy first and foremost. And I think from there we've discovered that we've created something that actually a lot of people like, just with the room and the coziness and the vibe. And going hand in hand with it is the beer, and the beer I think speaks volumes for the type of place we are as well.
right. Both your own stuff and the stuff you choose to put on.
Yeah, and I think we're just very open-armed company. We're definitely super unpretentious. We're not telling anyone what to drink. We want them to learn and just kind of be adventurous with us, because we're trying new things too. I mean, we did a Zwickel beer. I didn't even know what that was until Brandon made it.
Right.
And it turned out to be, I would say, by far our most popular beer. I mean,
Really?
it flew out. We had that twice already. We brewed that twice now. So.
there's a third batch on the way.
And there's
Nice.
a third batch coming. So, I mean, honestly, I'm just, I consider myself just like one of the people. I'm just like, I'm lucky and I got this place with these guys, and that's my story is simple. It's just, I'm the networking, I'm the friend who just opened a bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring everyone through. This is a question for you guys. I always was wondering if I owned a brew pub of sorts, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to go see firsthand what's popping in these cities, because I want to be ahead of the game. And you know what, maybe a lot of Canadians aren't ready for this, and maybe they are, because there's enough beer nerds like us who travel for beer, and there's beer nerds from the States that come to Canada for beer too.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna check this out. Business trip, fuck it. Let's go down, let's spend 2-3 days, let's hit up as many brew pubs as we can and talk to the people and take this, the tours and stuff, and let them know what we're doing and see what's popping there, to see like, these guys are kind of ahead of the game. Let's see how we can get there. How do you guys feel about those sort of activities?
I mean, obviously we'd like to do it. I know you're
Company credit card.
Yeah, I mean, once we
Talking
figure
TVs,
that out, I mean, yeah, obviously, there's so many great cities. I mean, we're surrounded by, I mean, it's not like they're the best places to visit, but I'd love to go to Buffalo and Cleveland and just kind of absorb a lot more American beers. And just, yeah, you're saying, like, go to, like, the, because a gas station and a fucking watering hole probably have a better selection than half of our bars in the city, right?
And that's,
I found
that's
Mel's,
100% the problem.
And that's, you know,
Yeah.
that alone is. I was in Nashville a couple of months ago, and we were on like East Hastings, which is like a bit more of a
Not the Vancouver
hipster
Hastings.
have
Oh, hipster?
Oh,
You would've
God, you ever
figured.
heard that term? It's fucking insane. So it's we were kind of in the middle of nowhere, and there was this one gas station that we thought we would totally get mugged. And we went inside, and this guy like Earl or Randy was his name, and he had like you know, big overalls on, big guy, like Bubba Gump hat, and we go in, and there's the most amazing selection of beer. Like, it was insane, and we bought everything. We got our groceries there, everything, and then we didn't even go out that night. We like went to our B&B. Was like, fuck, we got like,
Why go anyway?
it's an insane selection. Let's
Yeah.
just party here tonight on our first night. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, down the road, 100% we're gonna go somewhere. Ideally, I'd
Just
like
to get
go
some inspiration. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, inspiration for sure.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
just to see what's trending.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing in any craft, in any trade, is too much ego. You know, if you think that you know everything, if you think you don't need to be inspired to learn more, to grow, I think that's going to kill you.
Yep.
So I don't ever want to be in that position where I feel like, well, we know everything, we know what we're doing. It's
We're
like,
good.
we should always be like,
Just forget
even
everything
if it's
you know
good,
right
like how can it get even better, right? And
Yeah.
you get better by learning, you know, by exposure, by experience,
That's
by
it.
trying shit out, you know.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
That was
No,
a lot
man,
of fun.
thank
You guys were hilarious. Make sure to follow LayLowTO on all social media. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And the website, I'll put it in the description.
Laylowto.ca.
Even easier. Perfect. If you enjoyed the podcast, give us I was going to say thumbs up. That's YouTube. To review, rate it, subscribe on YouTube. Thumbs up, subscribe, social media at BAOS Podcast. Follow us everywhere. And if you're in Toronto, get your asses down here and drink the beer.
Come Laylow.
Come down. That's it, guys. And the food too. The food is next level. Respect. That's it, guys. Cheers.